Yeah, well, Benjamin Witless wants a truce with the people who are the malignancy. It's not the Trump administration. It's the institution of the Republican Party, and it's the Republicans in Congress who are the only ones with the competence and the desire to do transparently evil things constantly. Constantly. It's not this imbecile in the White House who obviously would violate every single democratic norm if he had a brain that wasn't fucking sponge cake. If it wasn't wandering around the halls of the White House looking for his pony.
It's this just dumbass child who got on Twitter today and was like, well, let's have a TV contest. I think Fox would win.
Yes.
And the only evil he accomplishes are existing Republican policies. He's like, I think the problem is that Donald Trump wants to have a TV contest. You fucking idiot.
Wait, who are the people who are actually actively doing evil things in the Trump administration? Guess what? It's not Trump because he's not smart enough to do it. It's lifetime Republicans. It's people who are in good standing in the Republican Party.
The people who are held up as the responsible ones, I would maintain, are the most evil.
Absolutely.
Kelly, John Kelly,
Monster, Mattis, Butcher, Fallujah,
Mnuchin.
Everyone hates Mnuchin because he's fucking hot and looks cool. When he
Foreclosure fucking king.
Yeah, but it's like, you want to talk about who has the most bodies on them when they got in there? It's fucking Mattis and Kelly, the people that everyone respects. And Kelly, that fucking piece of shit. I loved it when he got up there and was like, I'll only call on families that lost a loved one in the military. And people were like, oh, I can't believe he's doing that. It's like, yeah, he's almost acting like he ran Gitmo and was the fucking tip of the spear in Iraq, and that his son died in one of his stupid fucking wars, and he has to wash President Wetbrain's hands and make him appear legitimate so he can believe that his son didn't die for nothing, which he did. Sorry.
Okay, but my point about Benjamin Witt, senior fellow at the Brookings Institute, is I think like in this mentality and in that little thread there where he proposes setting aside our disagreements on what important political issues to maintain a status quo until Trump is out of office, to me speaks to like everything that is endemic in like the disease of contemporary liberalism, which is like they always just position themselves as like 5 to 10 degrees left of wherever the center is, but the center keeps being moved so dramatically to the right that like the idea that maintaining the status quo is like the dream or political goal of liberalism just shows, or like the Brookings Institute shows, how utterly not just impoverished their imagination is, but just how evil they are in general, that they think that would be like a worthwhile goal, is maintaining the status quo just until we can get Trump out of office.
Well, but that's because their vision of politics is absolutely one that erases the factor of voters and actual mobilization of politics as people with political views. They see it entirely as a capital fucking game between professionals, and this is all about the professionals coming together and putting their differences aside, forgetting the fact that if you do that, you basically demobilize your entire voting bloc and make yourself basically open yourself for being just annihilated by people who are willing to still mobilize voters on their behalf.
And it's also saying that let's turn back the clock to 2 years ago when everybody was doing great.
Yeah,
we all agreed.
Yeah, it's
right?
like, how the fuck do you think we got here? Do you think just overnight white people were like, oh, I'm racist?
Yeah. I wasn't racist till I saw The Apprentice come on TV and tell me it was okay.
But no, that is the thing. They do think of it as a game of professionals, and that's why they like that, Mark Halperin style of writing of like, oh, well, he's just a killer in substance. He's a policy wonk, and she's just, when Hillary gets out there and she gets going, she really should. They talk about it like it's sports because have never had any physical courage. They maybe played like some boarding school sport where you throw a stiff sock into a hamper. And it's sponsored by like slave trading companies, but they have to talk about it in that way because it adds they have to believe that their lives are like sexy and there's a level of skill, and it's not just like an accident of birth.
And it's not just fucking turning people out. It's not a brute numbers game, which is what it fucking is. It's not this delicate dance of strategy. It's a brute binary numbers game.
The wish of contemporary liberalism is that we could like, forget Trump. Like, the wish of contemporary liberalism is that we can just put aside all of these disagreements.
Yeah.
And because they position like they really view themselves as being outside of ideology.
Yes.
They view like their position as essentially the correct, objective one that is untainted by the grosser, vulgar things like, passion,
Populism,
and
or
tribalism,
the populism, the racist sort of ignorant populism, but also the selfishness and irrationality of socialism, because they think that socialist comes from the same sort of pit of selfishness as hostility to other races. They think it's all just base emotion and not reason.
But yeah, like the Brookings Institute is a think tank organization that was foursquare for the Iraq War, promoted it, midwife that entire disaster.
Also Libya.
And like every one of these fucking
Every
things.
single
and
one.
So it's like I said originally, it's rich, this idea that they're going to put aside their foreign policy disagreements.
Yeah.
You don't have any foreign policy
None.
disagreements with the status quo.
And also, yeah, I had the idea of them shepherding some sort of like, even status quo, moderate fiscal policy. It's like you fucking absolute dullards were promoting Paul Ryan for 6 years. Is like, oh, I don't agree with him, but he's smart about. Look at this graph. It's like anyone who looks you in the eye and says racism is not an American value will gut Medicaid and you'll smile.
Yep.
The Brookings people, like their whole critique of the Iraq War is that we should have sent 500,000 troops instead of like the paltry number that like the Rumsfeld Defense
I
Department.
love that
coughed
after
up.
the Democrats won in 2006 and they were like, oh, actually we were running on let's do the Iraq War right.
Yeah. Let's cover every precious American troop in adamantium so that they don't get hurt. They didn't have enough body armor.
Look, it's easy to criticize without offering a solution. And I want to tell you, the listener, what you need to do is go down the street to the gated community in your town, go up to the fucking local hot tub salesman's house, knock on the door, ask for his son who spray painted Shania Law in a mosque, and who is who is disenchanted with Trump when he found out that his daughter's a Jew, and say, welcome to the resistance.